Good evening, ambitious mums. How are you this evening? I hope you are all well. Please do say hello if you're coming on the replay or watching live. Give me some love hearts or some wow faces, those ones. That helps with the algorithm. So there's a reason why I asked for the heart faces and the hearts and the wow faces as opposed to just the thumbs up, because that doesn't help with the algorithm. Anyway, so I am Tiffany, your host of the Ambitious Mums Network, business coach and mentor for ambitious mums who want to leave their 9 to 5, never go back to their 9 to 5, and or start a dream business, so that you can work around your kids flexibly. I can't even talk today. I'm tired. My kids have driven me crazy, but so you can have that flexibility and freedom to work around your kids the way you want to. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is how to use storytelling in your social media. So if you see me looking up, I've got post-it notes on my laptop. I'm on for my laptop today. My son had used hi Reka, how are you? I'm just talking about how to use stories in your social media, in posts and live videos like this one. And yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to get into that because I need to jump off shortly and get the kids fed and ready for bed, because it's evening time here in London. So how should you use stories, and in what way should you use them? So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is why you should use stories. The thing is that people buy from people as opposed to buying a specific brand. So if you think about any brand that you specifically like to buy from, or a specific supermarket that you like to go to, they don't always talk to you about what's for sale in their shops. Most of the time they have, if you just revert back to looking at adverts on TVs, they have some sort of storyline that they're using that could be to do with the product or could be to do with that specific brand. So just think back to some of those specific brands that you like. And at Christmas time, this is a great example. At Christmas time, the adverts that come on TV always tell you a story, and it's not specifically about the product that you're going to buy or from the company you're going to buy. They like to use different types of cartoon characters, and what they're doing is they're humanizing it. They're edutaining you. So it's a bit of education, but they're also entertaining you with a story. But when you are the brand, you are the service provider, the person that they're buying from is you. So you are the business, and people buy from people. So what you should be doing is you should be showing your human side. And a lot of people don't tend to just buy off someone that they don't know, like, or trust. So what you're doing by showing your human side and inviting them into your world is showing them you are getting them to get to know you better, and thus building that know, like, and trust. So that's the first reason that you should be doing it. And the stories that you should be sharing are only ones that you're comfortable with, number two. So if there's something that you don't feel comfortable with telling your audience, you don't have to. So don't feel pressurized in that you need to detail every single part of your life and tell that story to your audience, because that's not what needs to be done. All you're doing is showing parts of you and inviting them into your world and them getting to know you. I mean, you could talk about lots of different things, like, if there's something that you've read out there, and you could tell them, like, what are your thoughts around that specific area, and what's your opinion on that specific area, and why you think like that. So you're bringing them into, your thinking and how you got there, so that you would use that as a story. Like, for instance, if you don't like something, you could tell them why you don't like that something, because you've had this XYZ experience, and that brought you to the place where you don't like it, or you don't agree with it, or whatever the case may be. And you don't only need to share your story. You could share the story of how you came to be about in business, why you're in business. For me, it's specifically around my kids. And I'm going to show you a post that I did on Instagram the other day. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you wouldn't have seen it, where I told a little bit of my story and my why. And just to give you an idea, so if you're not using stories in your business, and I'm not specifically talking about Instagram stories or Facebook stories, there is a place for that. You definitely should use in those. But with those, for the stories, those stories, the Instagram stories and the Facebook stories, you could be doing behind the scenes or a little snippet of something that's going on in your world, in your business currently, and use those stories, because there's not much that you can write. But in terms of doing Facebook Lives, content posts, where you're talking to people, you should be using like a specific story. It could be something that happened that day, something that happened last year or a few years ago, or that brought you to that kind of, to that thinking. Hello, Abigail, thanks for joining me live. I'm just talking about why you should be using storytelling in social media and how. So I'm on point number 3. So if you can go back and watch the replay for points 1 and 2. And some of the ways that you can tell stories are, you could tell a specific story, or you could write them in mini blog posts. So you could tell them little snippets of stories, and or in a post or on a live video. And what you could do is you could also share consecutive stories. So like, have a bit of a cliffhanger, and then so you build a bit of suspense and get people coming back to you. And then you do a to be continued with your story. That's another great way to do things. And also what you could be doing is incorporating, number 4, is incorporating little bits of stories in your content post. So that's the written post that you would post on Facebook or Instagram, with a picture or without a picture. A lot of people say that pictures actually, they say, well, a picture tells 1,000 words. So you can either use a picture of yourself or a picture that you choose, a stock photo, whatever. But a graphic sometimes grabs someone's attention, especially for me. So I'm a very visual person. So some people have different senses of what grabs them. It could be a title that, a written title, but for me, it's definitely a visual picture. And if that picture captivates me, then I will go on to read the long post. So I'm not really one of those that would just scroll through and then just read all the long posts. So the graphics part of it might be something that you like to use, and you can use them interchangeably, where you do little story posts, or longer sort of teaching content posts, value added posts with little bits of stories woven in through them, because people like that. People tend to like to be entertained in a way more than actually being spoken at. I don't know if you can think back to when you were in a training or that kind of thing, and you were in there for a whole day. By the end of the day, you've probably dozed off, I don't know how many times. You can't remember what you were taught the whole day, because you were just spoken at continually for that many, many hours. So just think about, what are some of the ways that you could be telling your story, telling your business's story, or if you are a product-based entrepreneur, how that product came about, how you thought about it. Show them a behind the scenes of like how they're made, and tell the people a story, like bring them into your world, into your business world, with the behind the scenes, or with some things that are coming up. Give them little snippets and say, like, this is to come, I'm so excited about it, and why you're excited about it, and like, watch this space. Cause give them some intrigue and some suspense about what's to come, get them excited with you about it. So what I would love for you guys, once you've watched this video, or if you've got any questions now, I don't know, I can't see, because I'm on my laptop, I can't see if you guys are still on, Abigail and Reka. If you've got any questions, please do ask now. If not, if you're coming on the replay, just ask your questions on the replay. I'll be jumping back in. And I've got a bonus tip for you. What I would say is, if you are a bit stuck about what to write, what to say with your stories, go away from this and take your journal or your diary or a notepad and write your whole story as much as you can, or as much as, you know, write everything down. It doesn't mean you have to share all of that, but write everything down. And I did this exercise a little while ago because sometimes I felt a bit of a loss of what to share in terms of stories. But once you've got it out of your head and down on paper, you can then highlight some of the things that you're comfortable to share and want to share, and that will kind of go hand in hand with, you know, what's going on with your business in your life and what's going on now. That could help your following and your tribe to get to know you a little bit better. So go ahead and do that. But if you've got any questions, I will hang on for a little bit. Please do let me know. If not, I will jump off. I've got to go and get my kids fed and then taken to bed shortly, in about an hour. But yeah, so that was my quick thing about storytelling. And also, if you didn't read the blog post from Gary Vee that I posted yesterday, please go back and read that. It's fantastic. And if you've got any questions around storytelling, please do ask, and I will speak to you soon. I'll have a little bit more on storytelling tomorrow, which is the last day of November. So that's storytelling done. And then into December, we're going into the Christmas and December theme, which is the Advent calendar, where I'm going to be dropping little things throughout the month. Some fun things, some edutainment, as I said earlier, and some teaching things that you can go ahead and implement in your businesses right away. But yeah, have a rest of a lovely evening, day, morning, wherever you are, and I will be speaking to you soon. Take care. Bye.